in a, yeah, in a special situation, yeah, maybe some of you have reached your hometown, yeah, in uh, West Java, East Java, maybe out of Java, yeah. Maybe some of you are abroad, yeah. All right. Without further ado, yeah. Today I would like to deliver a new chapter, which is AC motors. Yeah, the most common motor applied in industries. Yeah, most likely when you go to industries, 80% of the motors are AC motors. Yeah, so that's why we put a serious concern to this topic. Yeah, and right this moment, I would like to remind you about the third practicum. Yeah, the third practicum will be conducted on April. Yeah, and it will be much more serious. Yeah, because you will be working with uh, high voltage. Yeah, you will be working with three-phase electrical grid. Yeah, the RMS value is around 380 volts. Yeah. So I hope you understand this topic before you start the practicum. Yeah. And you hopefully uh, make well preparation, yeah, for the practicum. Okay. Introduction, transmission, and distribution. Yeah. Okay, this is the illustration I have given you several weeks ago. Yeah. Uh, Wait. On the left hand side, yeah, there is a power plant. Yeah. Power plant is responsible for power generation. Yeah. The voltage generated by the generator is around 20 kilovolt. Yeah. Uh, I think it is categorized as very high voltage, yeah, 20 kilovolt. Yeah. And of course, the power plant, yeah, the power generated by the power plant must be distributed to the customers. Yeah, like wait, I'm looking for laser pointer. Yeah. Okay, it will be distributed to industries, yeah, public facilities, and to several homes, yeah, or schools. Yeah. Okay. In our home, the electrical grid is quantified as 220 volt RMS. Yeah, as you have learned before. Yeah, 220. Yeah, volt, not kilovolt. Yeah. But you see that the amount of voltage is reduced gradually, yeah, stepping down gradually from 20 kilovolt to maybe from 150 kilo to 20 kilo, and eventually it reached 220. Yeah. Okay. Um, the main reason why we use ultra high voltage during the transmission is efficiency. Yeah. So to achieve high efficiency, the transmission is conducted using high voltage instead of high ampere. Yeah. So for the same amount of power, yeah, we have two options. Yeah, high voltage, low ampere, or yeah, high ampere, low voltage. Yeah. Okay. So that's two alternatives. Yeah. But since we want to achieve high efficiency, the most preferable version of electricity we deliver is high voltage. Yeah. Okay, there are two advantages at least. Yeah. The first one is we use low ampere, yeah, or low current. Yeah. Low current does it produce less heat. Yeah, it dissipates less heat. Yeah, which means that from thermodynamics point of view, yeah, the process is more efficient. Yeah. Secondly, yeah, low ampere requires low dimension of wire, yeah, or small dimension of wire. Yeah. It implies, yeah, cost efficiency. The construction not should be should not be too strong, yeah, so you can reduce material cost, yeah, for the construction, yeah. Okay, I hope this point is clearly copied, yeah. And I want Tar, are you still around?
Yes, Pak.
Yeah, I want you to ask student again about the advantages of delivering electrical grid in ultra high voltage format. Yeah, I want you to ask them again about this. Yeah,
Oke, Pak.
yeah, one of the most highlighted topic. Okay, I think I brief explanation about this is enough. Yeah, then yeah, three-phase electrical grid. Yeah. Okay, you see that I am simulating or animating, yeah, the power plant, yeah, representing the rotating turbine and generator. Yeah, it generates three phase. Yeah, you see three phase, which means that there will be three big wires. Yeah, there will be three big wires. Yeah, in form of, yeah, let's say 20 kilovolt. Yeah, 20 kilovolt. Yeah. 20 kilovolt is relative to the neutral, but please, yeah, uh, be informed. Yeah, please keep it in your mind that the generator, yeah, does not provide neutral wire. Yeah, it doesn't provide neutral wire. Yeah. So, Pak, how do we get neutral cable in our home? Yeah. Yeah. The neutral, yeah, appears just after uh, the power or the voltage reduced using a transformer. Yeah, this is transformer. The configuration of the transformer is delta 2Y. Yeah. Okay, you see, uh, on the primary side, there are three coils. Yeah, one, two, and three. There are three coils. Yeah, and yeah, every single of them are connected in delta. Yeah, delta configuration. Yeah, or in other words, it creates an O. Yeah, O. So from one coil go to another coil and goes to another coil, making a circle, yeah, a closed loop. Yeah. Okay. You see that this coil, yeah, this coil is connected there, yeah, to the second coil, and then the second coil is connected to the head of the third coil, yeah, and the tail, yeah, the tail of the last coil is connected to the head of the first coil. It creates a delta configuration. Yeah, physically it's not a delta. Yeah, I have no idea about the detail construction. Yeah, maybe you can find some proper illustration in internet. Yeah, and every connection, yeah, between is connected to the generator. Yeah. Okay. I hope you realize that there is no neutral wire, yeah, provided by the generator. The generator provides three wires only. Yeah. But just after the transformation, yeah, just after the voltage reduction, there will be a neutral line. Yeah, you see, there are three coils. Yeah, one, two, and three. But now the connection is Y, no longer delta. Yeah. Y means that there is a point connected to all coils. Yeah. And this three meeting the meeting point of three coils, yeah, will be considered as neutral. You see, this neutral is connected to the head, let's say, the head of coil number one. It is connected also to the head of coil number two. And then the neutral is also connected to the head of coil number three. Yeah. Okay. Meanwhile, the rest, yeah, let's say the head are combined, yeah, becomes a neutral, and the tails of each coil will be line one, line two, line three. Sorry, this is must be line 03. Yeah. Okay. That's why in industries, yeah, most likely you get three lines, yeah, and every single of them is indicated by R, S, and T. Yeah, this is what we call three-phase electric power. Yeah, three-phase electrical grid. Yeah. All right. Up to this point, is there any question? Is my voice still clear on your device?
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Thank you for the confirmation. Yeah. Okay, maybe it can be one of the quiz problem. Yeah. In the end of this lecture, there will be a small quiz as usual, and I hope Atar can attach one or two problems related to this transformation. Yeah. Y delta transformer, three-phase transformer. Okay, let's go. Yeah. If you measure, yeah, if you measure the voltage, yeah, which are R, S, and T using super oscilloscope. I say super oscilloscope, yeah, because common oscilloscope, yeah, are not able to measure voltage up to more than 300 volts, yeah. So be careful, never measure electrical grid directly using oscilloscope. Yeah, never do that. You will You will fry. You will fry and make permanent damage on the oscilloscope. Yeah, once you measure uh, the voltage electrical grid using oscilloscope. Yeah, but now let just make an assumption that our oscilloscope is a super oscilloscope. Yeah, we have you see three oscilloscopes. Yeah, one of them measures R to N. Yeah, uh, R to neutral. Yeah, one of them measures voltage from S to neutral. Yeah. And the last one measures voltage from T to neutral. Yeah. Okay. And if you plot them together on one plot, yeah, there will be three signals as appears on my screen here. Yeah. You see that the black one corresponds with the R. Yeah. The red one corresponds with the S, and yellow one belongs to T. Yeah. Okay. If you see clearly, yeah, here that the period of this voltage is precisely 20 millisecond. Yeah, this is 0.02 seconds. Yeah, that is identical with 20 milliseconds. Yeah, and if you compare three of the power, all of the power, yeah, basically they are sinusoidal voltages, yeah. But uh, let's say the S, yeah, is slightly shifted or delayed from the R relatively to the R, yeah. That's why it has certain phase angle, yeah. The relative phase angle is 120 degree. Yeah. If we convert the 20 millisecond into 360 degree or one full cycle, yeah, uh, as we assume that this one is 360, then the relative phase from S to R will be 120. Yeah. So that's why in the equation here, yeah, there is a new term minus 120 degree. This is the phase shifting, yeah, relative phase from S to R. Yeah. If we measure T relatively, the phase, yeah, T to R relatively, the phase shifting will be minus 140, yeah, 140 degree. Yeah, you can also convert this into radian. Yeah, okay. Um, to be honest, yeah, this one 200 2 pi f, yeah, the f is frequency is 50 hertz. Yeah, we are talking about Indonesian electrical grid. Yeah, the frequency is strictly controlled at 50. Yeah, but the unit inside this equation must be in radian per second. Yeah. So that's why we apply to pi. Yeah. But Pak, why are you using degree here? Actually, you can convert this into pi 2 pi per 3. Yeah. And this one is 4 pi per 3 radian. Yeah. It doesn't matter because combining radian with uh, the degree, yeah, is acceptable, similar to the currency you have. Yeah, for instance, you have certain US dollar. On the other hand, you have certain rupiah. Yeah, you can combine them within a pocket. Yeah, the unit of the one of the currency is US dollar, and the other one is rupiah. Yeah, or another currency. Yeah. Okay. The RMS value. Okay. Now, please pay attention again. Yeah. The amplitude of the voltage is 311. This is the amplitude. Yeah, 311, 311. If you measure the RMS value will be 220 volt. Yeah. So if you measure R to N, using voltmeter, you will get 220. Yeah. Pak, what about the S? If you measure S to N using a voltmeter, yeah, you will get 220 as well. Yeah, you can prove it mathematically. You perform the integral uh, for the RMS value, yeah, within one period of the signal. Then it results in 220. Yeah, and you will have the same as you apply voltmeter from T to neutral, T to N. Yeah, the RMS will be 220 as well. Yeah, okay. Unlike any others, yeah, if you measure R to S using voltmeter, you will have 380 volt RMS. Yeah, so these are the voltages you are going to deal with during the practicum module 3 and module 4. Yeah, Ex I think it is no longer safe, yeah, if you touch this directly. Yeah, so please be more serious than before. Yeah, I strongly believe that uh, you were serious in the practicum. Yeah, but the consequences of the first two modules, yeah, are relatively low. Yeah, the risk. Yeah, now you are facing high risk equipment, yeah, or devices. Up to this point, is there any question?
Sir,
Yes.
if I connect it from S to T, will it still give me 380 VRMS?
No, no, no. Never connect R to S directly. Yeah, it will cause damage on the transformer. Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's I think installing this without any fuse is sorry, yeah, stupid idea. Yeah, you see, we have RST and neutral. Yeah, never connect them directly. Yeah, it will cause fire. Yeah, it ignite fire. be careful. Yeah. But of course, yeah, to protect our devices, yeah, as we have learned before, we implement or we install a fuse. Yeah, there will be fuse. But if you do that in the practicum, the fuse will be permanently disconnected. Yeah, and technician will take time to reinstall or to install new fuse, and it will disturb the process of the practicum. Yeah. Okay. Is there any other question? Is that clear?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Some of your home or dormitories, yeah, get R, yeah, but maybe your neighbor, just the home just next to your home sometimes get S, yeah, sometimes get T, yeah. The distribution is organized by PLN. Ya, PLN regulate how many homes get R, how many homes get S, how many homes get T. Ya, they have to manage ya the balance of current. Yeah, I'm going back to the previous slide. There will be current at line one. There will be current on line two. There will be current on line three. Yeah, they have to maintain the current balance. Yeah, if the current uh, the currents are unbalanced, unbalanced means that one of them is much greater than others. Yeah, it will implies unbalance on the primary side. Yeah, the current here will be much higher than others. Then it will distribute uneven the torque unevenly. This is an electromechanical system, electromechanical, yeah, which means that uh, electric uh, electrical load we apply to the system will imply mechanical effect on the device or on the equipment. Yeah. Okay. So unbalanced torque on the turbine and generator, uh, maybe I say maybe, yeah, it will reduce the lifetime of the power plant. Yeah, or at least it will reduce the lifetime of the transformer. Yeah. Okay, so don't worry about the distribution. The responsible is on the company who provide the electrical grid. Yeah. So if you want to get a high power, for instance, you will make a big party, yeah, in your home, around or in your town, yeah. Sometimes you should combine the live and the neutral. You take live from two different homes, and then you take the neutrals, yeah, and then you combine. Be careful. Never combine R and S. Never combine R and T. Or never combine S and T. Never. Yeah. It will short the circuit, and there will be a damage on the uh, equipment on the transformer. Yeah, once the transformer is damaged, yeah, you will disturb others because the electrical grid provided to entire sector, yeah, will be shut down. Yeah, so please make sure that if you want to combine two lives, make sure that they have identical phase, R with R, or S with S, or T with T. The way you check them is by using this one, yeah, using a voltmeter. If you measure two lives, yeah, and you get 380 volt RMS, it means that the phase are different. But if you get zero, yeah, you get the same phase. Pak, is that R, S, or T? We don't care about that. Yeah, you know, this illustration on the left hand side, yeah, RST doesn't matter. It depends on when you start the measurement. If you start the measurement right at this point, it will be pure sine. Yeah, it will be sine. It will be sine omega t minus 120. Yeah, and then this one will be sine omega t minus 240. Yeah, so the R, S, and T doesn't matter. Yeah, it depends on when you start the measurement using oscilloscope. Yeah. Okay, any other question, please? Yeah. Okay, this is, in my opinion, uh, not not friendly. Yeah. Well, to some of you, this is friendly because sine omega t minus something, sine omega t minus 240. To some of you, yeah, this form is enjoyable, but to me, it's not. You know why? Because if you want to measure, for instance, R2S, yeah, voltage R2S, you have to subtract, ya, VR minus VS, sin omega t minus sin omega t minus 120. The subtraction, sinus minus sinus, is not simple. It involves a messy mathematical process. Yeah. So to simplify, yeah, to simplify the operation, yeah, I consider this as vector. Yeah, the VR is 311 sin omega t. Ya, Pak, how can you consider the VR as a vector? Okay, vector, ya, consists of cosine and sine, sine component and cosine component. But this one, it consists of sine component only. Yeah, so you can consider that this is the vertical component of a vector. Yeah, okay, but now I am drawing, yeah, uh, this one as a vector, ya, a complete vector. VR, ya, is minus 0 degree. This one is the vector. Ya. VS is minus 120. The angle is relatively lower than the VR. Ya. You see the delta from R to S is minus 120 degree. This is minus. Right? Then from R to T, the distance, the angular distance is minus 40 degrees. So now we have three vectors, yeah, phase difference of phase difference of 120 one to each other. Okay, up to this point, is there any question? Yeah, my voice still clear there, student? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Crystal
Yeah,
clear.
yeah. Okay. With shifting 120. Yeah. Now I am simplifying the sign functions, yeah, to be vectors. Yeah. So now if you are looking for VTR, yeah, please pay attention to this one. VTR, yeah, is VT minus VR. Yeah. According to the vector theory, it goes there. It goes there, right? Now you can evaluate the length of it, yeah, geometrically. Assume that this one is 311, yeah. Assume that the length of VR is 311, the VT is 311 as well. Then you can calculate the length of this geometrically using Pythagorean theorem, or using trigonometric calculator. Yeah. Based on my calculation, the length of this vector will be 5 uh 539. Yeah, so VRS, which one is RS? This one is RS, right? RS. VR minus VS. Yeah, this is VR, this is minus VS. Okay, you see, if you perform mathematical calculation using this subtraction, using trigonometric identities, the process will be taking time so long. Yeah, it will be time consuming. So instead of using this subtraction, I'm using this vector. The VRS is pointing there, and now the angle is plus 30 degree, right? If you draw this precisely, the angle or the orientation of the VRS will be plus 30 degree. That's why, yeah, I can put plus 30 degree here, and the amplitude is represented by the length of this vector proportionally. Yeah. Proportional means that the length of this represents 311, and then using proportional uh, ratio, you will get this one as 539, and the RMS value of this is uh, 539 per square root of 2, which is 380 volt RMS. Up to this point, is there any question?
Pak, ini berarti pakai phasor diagram ya, Pak?
Phasor diagram, yes. This is what we call phasor diagram. Yeah, anything else? Is there any other question? Yeah, the vector is imaginary. Yeah, maybe you cannot visualize the vector using oscilloscope. I don't think so. Yeah, yeah. Actually, if you smart enough, you are creative enough, you can make your own oscilloscope, which presents the voltages in form of vectors. You can. Yeah, but common oscilloscopes in markets, yeah, provides us uh, this visualization, yeah, sine waves instead of vector. Anything else? No? Yeah. I'm going faster than before, yeah, because we need to reach a certain achievement. Yeah, we have to achieve some materials before you start the practicum module 3. Yeah. Okay. Now our topic is AC motor. Yeah, the motor which utilizes AC current. Yeah, alternating current, I mean, sorry. Yeah, AC power. Okay. Now let me show you that the stator of the motor, I repeat, yeah. The stator of the motor consists of three windings. One, yeah, you can follow my pointer. This is one coils, one pair of coils. Yeah, actually there are two coils, one and two coils. They are in series. I say that this is a pair, yeah, or a couple like this. Yeah, one, and there is S turning like this, yeah, going to the another part of the coil, turning again, and then it is connected to the neutral, yeah, or ground. Yeah, sorry, this is neutral. Yeah, the last one is T. Yeah, so there are three phase. Yeah, this is another phase. Okay. Okay, this one is considered as a single pole stator. Single pole. Pak, what is pole? Ah, that terminology is definition. Yeah. So if you have this entire coils, yeah, this entire coils is considered as one pole. Yeah, one pole of three-phase coil. Okay. Now I am connecting this one, yeah, connecting the poles, yeah, to the neutral like this. This is neutral, 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 and then this one to VR, yeah, voltage R indicated by black. This is S indicated by red, and this one is T, yeah, T or VT indicated by yellow, yeah. Okay, this is the one of the most um, apa ya? one of the most struggling point. Yeah. Okay. Now, please, yeah, pay attention to this particular point of time. Yeah. Here. Okay. I hope you see that this is A. I'm making a notation as A. Yeah. And here is B. Yeah. So A and B represents different time. Yeah. Different timestamp. Now let's analyze, yeah, how the motor works when the time is equal to 0.005 or at point A. Yeah. Okay. Now at this point, yeah, R is positive. You see, R is positive. I'm highlighting this. Yeah, R is positive, and the value of the voltage is maximum. Yeah. At point A, voltage A is maximum. So maximum current will be flowing on the coil like this. I'm making this one. Okay. You see, I am making a downward arrow on the coils. Yeah, pointing downward, indicating that the large current is flowing downward from R to neutral. Yeah. Okay. If we look at another voltages, let's say R, yeah, the red one, the R is currently negative. Sorry, S, yeah, the red one is S. The S is currently negative. Yeah, the S is negative. So when it is negative, yeah, small current will be flowing in this direction. Yeah, Pak, why small current? Because the voltage of S is not at its maximum. Yeah, maximum is 311. So I'm distinguishing large current and small current. Yeah, current on R to neutral is large. Yeah, from neutral to S is small. Yeah, and then on the T, yeah, T is the yellow one. Yellow one is negative as well. T is negative as well. And it's not at its maximum, so the amount of current is relatively small. Yeah, so there will be two small currents and one large current and two small currents. Up to this point, is there any question? No? Yeah. Okay, if there is no question, I will go to magnetic field consideration. Yeah. uh, Theoretically and practically, I think this the natural behavior of a coil. When the coil is flown by the current, yeah, it will be a magnet. That's why it is called as electromagnet. Yeah, I'm assuming that when the large current is flowing downward, it becomes strong north pole of magnet. Yeah, that's why I am okay. I need to erase the annotation. Yeah, okay. I'm erasing the annotations first. Yeah, I want to make another one. A pen. Yeah. Pay attention that this is becoming north pole and it's becoming south pole of magnet. So there will be magnetic field, strong magnetic field in this direction, indicated by B. Ya, B vector. B is magnetic field pointing from north to south. Ya. Okay, this is strong because the current is large. Yeah. But the rest, yeah, since the currents are small, there will be another magnetic field pointing there, yeah, small, and another small magnetic field pointing there. So the resultant of those three magnetic field, yeah, will be pointing downward. There will be strong magnetic field pointing downward. Yeah. Alternatively, yeah, I can also perform the uh, vector operation, yeah. as I have drawn before on my slide. Yeah. Okay, let me go to the illustration. Yeah. Uh, I'm assuming that the strong end, yeah, is a strong vector pointing upward like that. Yeah. And then this small end or weak North Pole, yeah, will result in this small vector, yeah, and there will be another small vector pointing there, yeah. So that's why here, uh, around here, yeah, I have three vectors, yeah, where the resultant are pointing upward like this, yeah. Okay, so uh, under at this particular point of time, yeah, the resultant of the magnetization is indicated by this long vector. Yeah. Okay. Any question? Is there any question? Is my voice still clear there, audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, if we do the same analysis, yeah, for another time step, another point of time, yeah, let's say here, yeah, you analyze one by one. Currently, the T is negative maximum, which means that there will be strong south pole, yeah, and RS, R, RS, yeah, will create weak north pole, yeah, and you draw the vectors precisely, you will get something like this. Yeah, the resultant is now pointing there. Yeah, slightly inclined to the right with angle of 60 degree. Yeah, 60 degree relatively to the initial condition. If you do the same analysis for next time point of time, yeah, the resultant will be inclined, yeah. So it's pointing to southeast, yeah. Okay, as the time passes by, the resultant moves, yeah, in this way, yeah, creating rotating magnetic field, yeah, creating a rotating magnetic field, yeah. Okay, in conclusion, yeah, when you are connecting a stator of an induction motor or AC motor, yeah, there will be rotating magnetic field inside the motor, yeah, similar to rotating magnet, yeah, but uh, the component is not mechanical. This is electrical. Yeah. Is there any question?
Berarti magnetic fieldnya muter gitu maksudnya.
Muter, ya betul. Seolah ada magnet dari luar yang berputar, seolah begitu.
Tapi currentnya stay still. Maksudnya kayak coilnya stay still atau
Iya, iya,
coilnya
they
juga
they
gitu.
they they are they are staying at rest. They stay at rest all time.
Oh,
Ya,
karena angle shift-nya ganti ya. Jadi eh, asumsi
ya.
kayak
Yang
di
dynamic itu currentnya, ya,
I see.
ya.
Because of the phase shift, jadi magnetnya berputar gitu.
Ya,
Karena
oke,
dari fasor diagramnya.
that's good. Ya, so ya, physically, physically the coils, ya, stay at rest all time. I repeat, ya, all coils, ya, all of this, ya, stays at rest all time. But since the current is dynamic or the voltage is dynamic, dynamic means that change with time. Yeah. Since the current is dynamic, the magnetic field inside the stator, yeah, here within this cylinder will be rotating as the time passes by. Yeah, because of dynamic voltage, dynamic current. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The working principle of AC motor is totally different from DC motor. Yeah. In the DC motor, the magnetic field is constant. Constant means that you apply permanent magnet here. This is north, and this one is south. Yeah, and the magnet is permanent. The magnet is static. That's why the magnetic field is constant like that. Yeah, but in AC motor, the magnetic field, yeah, indicated by this vector B, yeah, this vector B, yeah, pointing there, yeah, is dynamic. Dynamic means that it rotates. Any other question or any other comment? Yeah, I hope this video can be distributed as soon as possible ya, Atar ya.
Iya, Pak.
Uh,
Bisa.
to uh, to make students uh, apa ya, to allow student making well preparation for the practicum ya. Okay, you can watch my explanation on the recording. Yeah. So now, okay, please look at this animation. Yeah. Currently, the resultant is pointing upward, pointing there. Yeah. As the time goes, you see the resultant is moving there. The time increases again. The resultant is now going there. The resultant is now here. So the magnetic field, yeah, the magnetic field will be rotating. Here is the illustration of synchronous AC motor. Ya, oke. There are two circles. There are two magnets lah ya. The ring, ya, the rotating ring represents rotating magnetic field. Ya. Okay, never imagine that this is a physical magnet rotates. Never do that. Ya. This is just an illustration that the magnetic field is rotating. If you put a permanent magnet inside the ring, yeah, then or let's say the rotor, yeah, the rotor will be following the ring, yeah, with identical speed, yeah. So that's why this is called as synchronous AC motor because, yeah, the rotor rotates with uh, precise speed, ya, ya, as the magnetic field rotates, ya. So the mechanical rotation is synchronized with the rotating magnetic field. Okay, you understand? I think this animation help you to understand how synchronous AC motor works. Yeah, please let me know if you are still attached to my explanation.
Apa, Pak? Ini motornya sama yang tadi yang baru dijelasin di slide sebelumnya atau ini beda sinkronus motor?
Sama, sama, sama,
Oh, sama.
sama. Cuma yang ring, Anda lihat yang kan itu ada ring sama silinder kan?
Iya.
Ada pipa lah, ada pipa, ngerti nggak tuh?
Yes.
Nah, pipa itu menggantikan rotating magnetic field kan seolah-olah itu magnetnya berputar.
Oh, I see. Oke.
Sedangkan yang di dalam itu rotor. Nah, rotor itu saya taruh tuh magnet gede bentuknya kayak silinder tuh. Ada merah biru kan gitu ya.
Iya.
Nah, karena interaksi medan magnet, ya tentu ngikutin dong secara sinkron, artinya kecepatannya sama persis gitu.
Itu tapi yang connected sama slip ringnya berarti wire-nya.
Bentar-bentar, saya belum jelasin yang kanan. Saya belum
Oh,
jelasin
oke.
yang kanan. Bentar. I haven't explain the right illustration, the right hand side illustration. Uh, you know, I'm still correlating this slide with the previous one. Yeah, the ring, this rotating ring represents the rotating magnetic field, and this one, yeah, the rotor or the cylinder illustrates a magnetic, a permanent magnet I put inside the motor. Yeah. So the permanent magnet or the cylinder will be rotating synchronously with the rotating magnetic field. Yeah. Then you can utilize this rotating rotor to drive your motorcycle, to drive your latte machine, yeah, to drive industrial equipments, yeah, which requires precise speed. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, what? The rotor, yeah, in most cases, yeah, as far as I know, in industries, yeah, it is made of electromagnet, yeah, instead of permanent magnet. Why? Because making uh, a big dimension or large dimension of um, permanent magnet is costly and nearly impossible. I say nearly impossible for now. Yeah, I don't know. In the next decade, maybe the technology is getting more improved. Yeah, maybe you can make your own strong magnet. Yeah, with large dimension. But to make the motor more compact size, yeah, we replace this permanent magnet using this coil. You see, yeah, this coil, yeah, is driven by DC power supply. Pay attention. This is DC power supply. Yeah, I need a pen. Yeah, DC power supply indicated by this symbol plus and minus. Yeah, so there will be slip ring. Yeah, this wire will be always connected to this positive side of the battery. Yeah. Meanwhile, this end, yeah, is always connected to the negative. So the electrical current on the winding will be maintained constant as I illustrate using these arrows. Yeah. So using your rule hand, right hand rule, I mean, yeah. Uh, it will create a magnet, yeah, where it is a north, yeah, and that one is south. Yeah. So this coil will behave as a magnet, similar to permanent magnet. Okay, is that uh, related to your question? Ya, itu nyambung dengan pertanyaan Anda kan ya? Siapa tadi yang nanya? Halo, suara saya masih masuk nggak nih?
Masih, Pak.
Masih ya?
Iya, Pak.
Oke. Jadi kalau I repeat in bahasa Indonesia ya, eh, jadi membuat magnet yang besar dan kuat itu mahal. Ya, mahal dari secara material dan ongkos pembuatan. Tapi kalau Anda buat kawat ya, Anda lilit seperti ini, kemudian Anda supply itu dengan listrik positif dan negatif, maka ini akan menjadi magnet yang seolah seperti permanen magnet. Ini kutub utara, ini kutub selatan, terus berputar gitu ya. Nah, maka Anda akan punya magnet yang kuat, tapi ukurannya kecil begitu. Ya, oke ya. Sampai di sini, siapa yang mau tanya? Silahkan. Jelas ya. Atar, halo Tar,
Yes,
masih ada
Pak.
nggak? Ada foreigner nggak di sini?
Tadi ada Pak Koichi.
Koichi ya. Koichi, are you still around? Can you follow my, yeah, can you follow my explanation? All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, my assistant will help me to distribute the recording of this video. Yeah. Uh, uh, on Dynamics Laboratory YouTube channel. Yeah. So you can repeat uh, my explanation there. Okay, let's go. Yeah, even though you even though you will be able to see repetition of my explanation through my YouTube channel, yeah. But however, in the end of this lecture, you will have a small quiz as usual, yeah. And one question maybe takes around 20 seconds, star. How many seconds? 20 or 30?
30 Pak usually.
30 seconds, yeah. Yeah, we restrict the duration of quiz, yeah, because I want to check how attached you are to my class. Yeah. Okay. Now the next subchapter is about number of poles. Yeah, number of poles. Here, yeah, you see that. Okay. Yeah. Uh, this one, yeah, R from R to the neutral, yeah, is considered as a single pole. Yeah, single pole. Okay, single pole. Together with S and T. Yeah, so entirely this one is considered as single pole. But on the right hand side, yeah, you see that from R, yeah, it doesn't go directly to that one. Yeah, instead it's going there, yeah, and then going there and going there. Yeah. Okay. For this case, yeah, we call this as okay. Wait. I need to erase this. You see, the construction is now more complex. Yeah, the construction is now more complex. Yeah. I do the same not only to the R but also to the S and T. This is S, this is T. Okay, I think if I show you this final construction, you will not be able to distinguish which one is R, which one is S, which one is T. Okay, sorry. I think this is S. Sorry. This is S. Yeah. Okay. You see, I repeat. This is a pair of coils. Yeah, connected to R and neutral. This one is connected to S and neutral. Yeah. And this is T to neutral. More complex, right? Okay. So, this one, the right, uh, my pen, yeah, the right construction, yeah, this construction considered as double pole. I repeat, double pole. This one is single pole. This one is double pole. Okay, you understand the definition? I would like to check. If you don't understand, I will repeat. But please let me know. Do you
Masih nggak
understand?
ngerti, Pak.
Masih nggak ngerti? Oke, I repeat. Ya. Oke. Uh, the first system I have explained is single pole. Means that this coil, yeah, turning like that, yeah, and then connected to the next coil, yeah, turning the same way, and finally ends at neutral. This is single pole. If you ask me, Pak, why do you say that this is single pole? That's definition. Yeah. Okay. So uh, all of this, every single of them R, S, and T are single pole. Yeah, because from R directly goes, yeah, or straightforwardly goes to the neutral following this straight line. Yeah. But for the second motor is this one, yeah. From R to neutral is not straightforward. Yeah. It is turning like that. Suppose that the current is flowing there, yeah. But now it is going to the right hand side, yeah. and the current is turning like this. Yeah. Once we complete the turning, we go to the next coil, turning like that. Yeah. And turning again here. Finally, it reached neutral. This is called as second pole. Sorry, double pole. Pak, why do you say that this is double pole? Definition. Yeah. Similar to you have one pole, two pole, but all of them are connected to the same source, which is R. Yeah. Any question? Is it clear?
So
Siapa?
even if it's like one wire, tapi dia kayak it
Yes,
have
one
like
wire.
north south gitu, ada dua polarity, itu berarti two
Yeah,
pole.
similar to you have two magnets. Yeah. Suppose that you know wait, sorry, two poles of magnet. Yeah. Suppose that this is north. Of course, if it becomes south, for instance, yeah, and then it become, I don't know, yeah, south and north. So similar to you have two magnets. That's why it is called as two poles, considered as two poles. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I draw the R first. Yeah. The coils belongs to R firstly. Yeah. Now I'm drawing the complete construction of the motor. Yeah. Pay attention. R S T. Okay, now the construction is no longer simple, and this is what actually happened to your motor, to your AC motor. Yeah, the winding is not as simple as you thought. Yeah, there are so many windings, but basically, yeah, they have two poles. Yeah, R have two poles, S two poles, T has two poles. So we consider that this one, the left motor, yeah, this motor is a single pole motor and this one is a double pole motor. Yeah. Any question? Any other question? Yeah. So my next question, if you have no question, Pak, what is the double pole for? Why do we construct something difficult, Pak? Why do we construct a complex construction? Yeah. Okay. Here is the answer. Yeah, if you have uh, one pole of stator, yeah, number of pole is one, and then the speed of rotating magnetic field will be 3000 RPM or 50 hertz. Yeah, this is equivalent or exactly the same as 50 hertz. Yeah, 50 hertz like that. Yeah. Okay. So if you use a single pole stator, yeah, your rotor will be rotating with frequency of 50 hertz. If you use the motor as I have drawn here on the right hand side, the second motor, there will be two poles, yeah, and the speed of the motor will be a half, will be divided into two, yeah, 1500 RPM. That's the characteristic of synchronous motor. If you apply three poles, yeah, then there will be three poles, yeah, and the speed of the motor will be divided by three, which is 1000 RPM, yeah, or certain hertz, 50 by 3 hertz, yeah. If you apply more uh, for poles, for instance, then the speed of the motor will be divided by 4, which results in 750 RPM. Yeah, and so on. Ya, oke. Any question?
Pak, contoh yang three poles gimana, Pak?
Contoh yang triples gambarnya susah, itu nggak saya gambarin. Ya, one of your friend asked me about the construction of triples. Okay, let me illustrate from here. Yeah, okay, this is the winding. This is the winding like that. Yeah, and then this is the winding like this. The next winding like this. The next winding. Yeah, going there. The next winding, and here we go. This is the to the neutral, and this one is connected to R. Let's say this is three poles for R only. Yeah, for S and T you have to draw the same. Yeah, you have to draw the same. Yeah, is it clear? Who did
Oke, Pak.
asking? Ya, oke. Jelas ya. Saya nggak mau gambar lagi, repot. Yang
Nah,
penting
ini
cara
tapi number of pulse-nya di per wire-nya kan ya, Pak?
jumlah coilnya sih sebetulnya ini nih. Ini coil ini nih. Aduh, harus mundur lagi slide-nya. Nah, ini nih. Satu satu pole tuh segini nih. Jumlah coilnya berarti kan. Wire-nya satu kan. Satu untuk R. Nanti untuk S satu wire lagi.
Oh, oke.
Ya, oke. That's good. Ya. So, if you go to industries, ya, you go to manufacturing site, manufacture site, you go to anywhere, ya, which utilizes AC motor, and then you see the specification of the motor is rounded like this. Rounded means that uh, 3000 RPM over round number, ya, 3 per 2, 3 per 3, 3 per 4, 3 per 5. Most likely, ya, without looking at the construction, you see this information, you can easily conclude that this is an asynchronous AC motor. That's how engineers uh, easily identify motors. Ya, you see. Oh, yeah, be careful. If you go to the USA, yeah, where the frequency is 60 hertz, yeah, it results in 3600 RPM. And then two poles with results in 1 8, yeah. If the electrical grid is 60 hertz, yeah. And then it will be 1200, yeah, and so on. Yeah. Okay, be careful. If you go to the USA where the frequency of electrical grid is 60 hertz, yeah, then the speed of the motor will be uh, 60 hertz precisely, or 60 per 2, 60 per 3, 60 per 4, and so on precisely. That's synchronous AC motor. Yeah. Okay. Next. Synchronous and asynchronous. Yeah. Pak, is there any asynchronous? Yes. But why do people create asynchronous? Okay, please have a look at this animation. Yeah, you see the ring is rotating, representing the rotating magnetic field. Yeah, and the rotor is also rotating synchronously, representing the rotating coils, yeah, being injected by DC current. Yeah, this is injected by DC current. But as the rotor works, yeah, uh, this component, yeah, uh, is wearing out progressively. Yeah, yeah, okay. So the material of the slip ring will be reduced as the time passes by because of the friction. Yeah, because of the friction. That's why, yeah, the most unreliable component of an AC motor is the slip ring. Yeah, the slip ring causes the synchronous AC motor unreliable. Ya, at some life cycle, ya, at some cycle, the motor stops because of wear. Ya, the contact between the coil and the slip ring is no longer good. Ya, is no longer good. Ya, so that's why people uh, engineers ya create another type of AC motor, which is asynchronous. By the name, you know that, yeah, asynchronous means that the rotor rotates asynchronously with the magnetic field. Yeah. Okay, here is the rotor. Yeah, here is the rotor. Squirrel cage rotor. In bahasa Indonesia, this is called as rotor sangkar tupai. Ya, in bahasa Indonesia. Ya, this is squirrel cage rotor. Previously, the rotor is a winding, ya, is a coil, ya, that is injected by DC current, ya. But in asynchronous, we don't need to apply any battery to create current on the rotor. This is the construction of the rotor. It consists of two rings, yeah, the upper ring and lower ring. Right in between, there are several rotor bars. Yeah, this is called as rotor bar. Yeah, yeah. Of course, this construction is made of metal, yeah, which is able to flow electrical current. Yeah. Okay. Now consider suppose that this rotor is placed in uh, an atmosphere with rotating magnetic field. B, yeah, is the rotating magnetic field. B is rotating like this. Yeah. B is rotating like that. Yeah. So if you are consider this particular rotor bar, this rotor bar. Yeah. Okay, I'm taking the rotor bar there. This is the rotor bar. Yeah. Okay. The magnetic field will be moving in this way. It has certain speed V. Yeah. Because of the rotation, because of the rotating magnetic field, we can consider that this magnetic field is moving there with speed of V. Yeah. Okay, this is relative motion. Yeah, this is relative motion, which means that if we consider that this rotor bar is staying at rest, sorry, if we consider that the magnetic field is staying at rest, we can consider that this bar is moving there with same speed as v. So it depends on a point of view. Yeah, if I consider the magnetic field is staying at rest, yeah, this rotor bar is moving in this direction with vector speed of v. Yeah, in physics, yeah, if we move a conductor bar, yeah, around a static magnetic field B, yeah, the charge the charge the charges will be polarized, means that positive charges will be going downward, yeah, and the negative charges will be moving upward. Yeah, so this is the basic principle of generator. Yeah, in any generator, yeah, when the magnetic field is passing a bar, yeah, the bar will behave as a battery, which means that it becomes more positive than the upper side or the upper end, positive and negative. It behaves as a battery. Yeah. Okay. On the other hand, this segment, if you analyze if you analyze the elementary or subatomic activities inside the bar, yeah, because of this rotating magnetic field, ya, it will be more positive, it will be more negative, because uh, it can be considered as moving bar in this way with speed of v. Ya, it is opposing the other side of the bar. Ya, oke. Okay, now since it behaves as positive, this one is negative, yeah, this one positive, and this one negative, then there will be electrical current flowing on this one. There will be a circulation. Yeah, there will be a circulation. Up to this point, is there any question? Yeah, the electrical current flowing on this bar considered as induction current. This is induction current. Ya, induction current. Any question? No? Ya. Oke. Then ya. Uh, oke. One more thing. One more thing. I erase this first. Any question? Yeah. Because of the rotating magnetic field, there is the rotor bar will be polarized. Polarized means that it becomes positive, it becomes negative. So there will be electrical current indicated by I. I is considered as vector, yeah. And then because of this current, yeah, I L cross B will be a Lorentz force, yeah, this way. Yeah. So that's why there will be a Lorentz force acting on the bar. Yeah, like this. This is the Lorentz force. Yeah, this is F. Yes, subscript L. Yeah. On the other side, this bar indicated by FL. So it will create a torque. Yeah. This current called as induction current. That's why this kind of motor is considered as uh, sometimes, yeah, the name of the motor is induction motor, ya, induction motor. Okay, so if uh, you see an induction motor, yeah, the rotation will be asynchronous like this. This is the simulation. You see, I'm rotating the ring, yeah, but the rotor, yeah, which is made of squirrel cage, is slightly uh, delay, ya, asynchronous, ya, asynchronous motor, ya. And then the speed of the motor is determined by, yeah, if for induction motor the speed is n per p only, right? N per p, yeah. N is synchronous speed, which is 3000 rpm. This is 3000. And P is number of poles. If the number of poles is 1, for synchronous motor, the speed will be exactly 3000 rpm. But for asynchronous one, the speed will be multiplied by this factor, 1 minus S. S is sleep. Let's say normally this is 3 to 5%. Yeah. Okay. So if the speed of the synchronous, if the synchronous speed is 3000, and then the slip is 5%, you can calculate the speed of the motor. Yeah. Thank you very much. I think that's all my presentation for today. Yeah. Any question?
Sir.
Ya.
Kalau S itu persentase, P itu tadi apa, Pak?
P itu number of poles.
Oh, number of pole.
Nah,
Oke.
tadi kan ada yang 1 pole, 2 pole, 3 pole gitu ya.
Berarti S itu dependent on P atau S itu selalu 3 sampai
Enggak.
5%?
S itu independent. S depends on load.
Oh, oke.
Yeah, the value of S normally 3 up to 5% depends on the load being driven by the motor.
Berarti kayak 3% itu for low load or gimana Pak?
Gimana?
Kayak kan ini dependent on load. Berarti kalau misalnya loadnya tinggi, is it
The
still
higher
5?
the load, the higher the load, the higher the sleep.
Oke.
Ya, S is sleep. S itu sleep. The way we write sleep, S is sleep. Ya, relative motion between the magnetic field and the rotor. Ya. Alright, guys. That's all my presentation for today. Yeah, please get ready for the small quiz. Atar, maybe you can stop the recording now.